Hey there, guys. Riotman is having problems with the Scorn of Oppression fight. I just did a video the other day with Noctis, but Noctis is really powerful, so we're going to be doing a little bit more of an explanation video as we go into the Armor of Oppression and showing a way that we can clear this fight with this team that Riotman has access to, or at least similar units. So we're going to be doing Charlotte with our magic cover. She's going to be provoking with evasion and covering the magic. She's got decent spirit, decent hit points, etc. And she's paralyzed immune because I put her on Odin. We're going to be doing Folka as our healer. She can do mana regen, but most importantly, she can do stop immunity, which is really important. And we put her on Carbuncle for the Dispel ability to help out with the Dispels. We're going to be doing Kamari as a general support unit. He's going to be doing Mirage, Healing, possibly Entrust. It's really always doing Mirage, Healing, maybe some defense and spirit buffs as well. We're going to be doing Lid as our breaker. She can break, Entrust if need be, but preferably we'd like to keep her limit for herself. Other than that, she's on Lakshmi to give us stop immunity if something goes wrong. Also, she can summon Lakshmi for healing the team, again, if we're busy with other things. We're going to be using Kefka as a chainer. He's a dark chainer, so it works with Shantoto. Other than that, he's just a DPS. Nothing really special going on here. You can swap out the DPS with literally any DPS you want. And we're grabbing Seer's Wizardress Shantoto. She's decent because she can chain dark with Kefka. She can apply blind, which is very helpful here. Other than that, she's got some human killer equipped. Yeah, we're doing good. Let's give this a go. Now, like I said, you can use any DPS you want. Noctis is great. Awakened Onion is good. Aurora Friavia, just whatever DPS you want. The big thing here is dealing with the mechanics. And I'm gonna try to explain what's going on in this fight more than I did in previous videos. Alright, so here's the ambush. The boss is going to buff it up with Mighty Guard. Because Folka has nothing to do on turn 1, we're going to go ahead and dispel that. Also, because Charlotte is wearing the Cursed Shield, it poisoned herself, so we'll just assume to get rid of that. It only applies at the beginning of the fight. Alright, we're going to use Charlotte. Because we don't need cover on turn 1, we're going to use Healing Glory for a limit fill buff. Kamari is going to reflex. Now, if you're not using Kamari for dodge, you will need to break and cover and all that. But we're using Kamari for dodge. Kefka is going to triple delirium. We'll do I hate you, and what is double chain dark? I didn't mean to click lid. That was a mistake. Luckily, we don't have to break on turn 1, so that mistake is not really going to cost us. I did not mean to click lid, but whatever. Alright, now we're going to use Shantoto's cooldowns. Now, this first turn, there's no magic. The single target is provoked by Charlotte, and then the AoE is going to be miraged by Kamari. So it's okay that we didn't break. That misclick is not going to be a problem. Otherwise, I would have had to reset the fight or something. Now, on turn 2, there is going to be a magic attack. Now, if we're lucky, we can triple chain and fill up Charlotte's limit gauge. If not, then we'll entrust her with Kamari. Let's go ahead and break the boss with Lid, Super Analysis, before we do anything else. This applies Libra, it's so irritating, but whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and do our chaining, and hopefully we can fill either Charlotte or Kamari, and then he can entrust. Okay, not quite, but it's fine. So we'll use Kamari to entrust Charlotte. Because Kamari has double Mirage, it's still active for this turn, so we don't need to recast it on this turn. Folka will spend this round just applying a barrier, and we'll do a teardrop because Kefka does use a lot of mana. Alright, so the only damage this turn is going to be a meteor, but Charlotte is going to cover it and take very minimal damage because it doesn't really hurt the magic tank very much. And here's the AoE that Kamari dodged, or Mirage. Here's the meteor. Doesn't really do anything. Now, turn 3 would be a special stance, but because we're going to push the threshold at 80%, it's not going to actually do a stance. Alright, let's have Lid do a break. It's stronger than the break we used earlier. We'll have Kefka and Shantoto chain. Before I do that, do I want to do anything with these units? Let's go ahead and do a Healing Glory with... Actually, that's already active. No, let's wait on Charlotte. Yeah, let's do our chain for now and see what happens. Alright, we pushed the threshold. Kamari's Mirage is gone, so let's go ahead and do that. We don't have a defense or spirit buff this turn, so we'll cast that with Charlotte, because we did push a threshold. Folka is going to give us a barrier, and we don't really need healing. Charlotte's fine. So we'll just do a teardrop again for more mana regen. Keep the mana going. Alright, so here's the threshold from 80% to the Thunderous Meteor. And now the boss is going to do... he's probably going to do like the Pressurous Tightening, or he's going to do Iron Colossus. Let's pay attention. He's doing Pressurous Tightening. Okay, there was a chance you could do either one. Pressurous Tightening is a Dispel on your team, and it's a signal that next turn he's going to AoE stop your team. So first of all, we got completely dispelled. You have to notice that, otherwise you're just going to be in big trouble. So first of all, and the boss gives himself Mighty Guard, but we don't really care about that. So before we do anything else, let's go ahead and do our chains, and if we're lucky, we can get Charlotte Luna first. If not, we can entrust her with Lid. Actually, let's entrust her with Lid anyway. So now we're going to apply Charlotte's Limit, which gives us mitigation and puts her cover back up. Let's have Kamari do a Reflex for Mirage, because it was dispelled earlier. We need Stop Immunity. That's very important. So we're going to do Stop Immunity with Folka. And we'll do... we don't really need anything else with Folka this turn. So I guess we'll do a Teardrop. No, let's not do a Teardrop. Let's just do both of her immunity buffs. No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do Immunity, and we're going to do Water Screen. Sorry about that. Alright, Kefka. The boss is in peril. I think it's worn off at this point. No, one more turn of in peril. Okay. So Kefka will go ahead and just chain 3 times. And we did get our magic buff dispelled, which is kind of unfortunate, but not a lot we can do about that. So we'll just chain. Now the boss has Mighty Guard this turn, so it's going to do less. This is less damage than usual. It was okay. Alright, and then we're going to use Folka to give us Stop Immunity. Now we're going to get a Mana Drain, and we push the threshold against. We're also going to get a Thunderous Meteor. There's the Mana Drain and the Stop, but we're immune to Stop, so it didn't really matter. And now we do have Mirage again because we refreshed it. Here's the Reaper, Mighty Guard from the other threshold. And the boss, again, has not done a new stance because we keep pushing thresholds, so he's not using his stances. Alright. I think we still have Mirage. We do. I can tell from the little after image. Below 50%? Or is it below 40%? Let me double check here. No, below 40%. We're good. Alright. I'm going to use Kamari to entrust over to Lid. I want to do a break on the boss again. Let's go ahead and break the boss. We're going to have Kefka, triple chain. And we need to imperil Dark. So we're going to do this. Also, the bonus thing about Nightmare Sight is it blinds the boss. This is going to be our source of blind. Because we're going to the lower half of the fight, the boss gets more dangerous. We want to, at this point, we want to start keeping blind active. So we're going to blind him, and that also imperils him. Alright, we didn't push the threshold, which is fine. But we do, as you can see, we do have lots of mana problems. So we're going to use Healing Glory with Charlotte. And we're going to double Teardrop with Folka to fill lots of mana, because the boss did mana drain us. Alright, we didn't push a threshold, which means the boss is finally going to use a special stance. But at the end of the turn, you got to pay attention. It's either going to be Focus Stance or Iron Claws, Ruthless Stance. Okay, so Ruthless Stance means he's going to use 2 attacks that have 2 fixed attacks, which you cannot dodge. But because he's blinded, they can miss. And they probably will miss. But also, he buffed his attack and magic by like 100% or 200%. It's a lot in any case. You need to dispel that. So, we're going to use Folka to dispel that this turn. We're going to dispel those buffs. And we're going to heal the team. Now we're going to use Lid to re-break. Now we could have used Lid's Jamming Pulse if our Limit Burst wasn't ready. That would have kept the breaks up without removing them, and it would have removed the buffs. But because Lid's Limit was ready, we could just do that. Charlotte doesn't need to do a whole lot here, so we'll just still Limit Gauge so it's ready for next turn. I think next turn we're going to get Dispelled again, possibly. So we're going to... Is Shantoto's cooldowns back up? They are. So we're actually going to use this to power up. And then Salvation Scythe. Kefka, we'll use you to power up as well. Havoc Wing. I think this is your good ability and it's not ready yet, but that's fine. So this is not going to chain or anything. This is like a refresh turn. And we'll Reflex to put Mirage up. Alright, first there are going to be 2 attacks that ignore Provoke, but we're going to Mirage both of them. So here's one. Mirage. Here's the second one, Mirage. Now there's going to be 2 AoEs that ignore cover, but they can miss with Blind. Alright, it hit Lid once. Oh, it was only one time because he's above 40%. Below 40, it'll be twice. But there we go. So that stance is now over. So now he's back to his regular phase. So we're going to refresh that Mirage. And now we're going to go back to chaining. My Kefka technically should use his cooldown, but we're going to... Actually, does Kefka have his Quadcast up? He does. So we're going to chain proper, and then we'll use his cooldown at the end of the turn so it doesn't break the chain. And then we're going to triple chain with the Shantoto. I'm pretty sure the boss is imperiled, right? Yeah, he is. Alright, so what do I want to do here? We've got one more turn of cover and mitigation with Charlotte, so we don't need to do anything with her. Let's have her do a... No, let's have her do a defense and spirit buff, because we're going to push the threshold here. Alright, Lid. We did a break last turn, so your limit is good. Let's go ahead and just do our damage here. Alright, so we're going to push the threshold. We did. Not a problem. Alright, Lid, your limit is ready again, but we don't really need it right now. So we're just going to have Lid. Lid really has nothing going on this turn, so we'll just Downer Bomb and maybe break something. Defense. The most useless stat for this team. It's fine. Whatever. Alright, we pushed the threshold, so let's go ahead and Flowing Waters for a barrier. Lid technically needs some healing. I could heal her, or I could Teardrop. I don't really need Teardrop. Let's go ahead and heal. For Lid, for the safety. Let's be safe here. Alright, so we push the threshold. It's going to be a Thunderous Meteor at the start of the turn from the threshold. That's a fixed attack, so you can't cover it. And then it's going to now do a double Reaper. Because he's below 40%, he's going to Reaper twice a turn. But with Kamari, we don't really care, because we're going to dodge both. There's the Mighty Guard. Here's the second Reaper. Both of them have been dodged. Alright, Pressure is tightening. That was the Dispel. So again, next turn is going to be a stop. And this turn we were completely dispelled. You got to make sure you don't miss that Dispel, or just, bad things will happen. So we're going to go ahead and refresh our mitigation. We're going to refresh the break with Lid. We want to do Mirage again, so we'll reflex with Kamari. We need Stop Immunity, so we're going to give us Stop Immunity with Flowing Waters. And Charlotte took a hit, so we're going to Water Screen to heal Charlotte up. And then Kefka will just triple chain our dark damage. Now the boss does have Mighty Guard that this team doesn't really have a good way to dispel that, so we're just kind of ignoring it, and we're dealing less damage as a result, but it's fine, whatever. Yeah, if we were using like Kryler or something, we could easily dispel that and then reapply, but, Alright, here's the stop and the Mana Drain, but again, we had protection from Folka, so it's okay. And then we're going to get a double Reaper, which is dodged by Kamari. Dodge, dodge again, perfect. Here's the Meteor, recovering it. So pretty safe. Pretty safe. Now next turn, the boss would go into a stance again, but we're going to push the threshold, the 20% threshold, which is going to delay that stance by one turn. Alright, this is the last turn of Imperil. Let's go ahead and do our damage before we do anything else. Actually, no, let's do a fill rate buff. Let's have Kamari do a reflex. Yeah, let's do our damage. Alright, last threshold has been pushed. I'm gonna go ahead and use lid to break. We didn't need it that turn. I'm gonna refresh it anyway. And we're gonna push the threshold. So we want a barrier, and let's do a teardrop for some mana regen, because the boss's pressure is tightening does drain your mana, and Kefka uses a lot of mana. So there's the threshold. Not really a problem. Here comes the crash down. It hits pretty hard, and then double Reaper, the last mighty guard of the fight, and then the meteor that hits Charlotte. Alright, Iron Colossus and Ruthless Stance. So he did Ruthless Stance twice this fight. It would have been nice if he had done a different stance, but whatever. Alright, so this time, to remove the boss's buff, because Lid's limit is not ready, we're going to instead use Jamming Pulse to remove that Ruthless Stance, but keep the breaks up. So as you see, that removed the attack buff, but it kept the breaks. Also, again, Ruthless Stance, you want to blind the boss. So we're going to use Shantoto to blind the boss. Now, because the boss, each time he's blinded, he gains partial resistance to it, it becomes harder and harder to blind him. So I'm going to cast the blind skill twice to give a better chance of it landing. If it doesn't land, you know, it's not game over or anything. It'll just be more dangerous. But we definitely want to Mirage, because we're going to get 2 single target attacks that ignore cover. Mirage will work on them, though. So now the boss should be blinded. I can't tell because it's so flashy right now. Okay, yeah, blind landed, perfect. We'll go ahead and use Charlotte to reapply her cover and mitigation. And Falco will give us a barrier, and we'll do a physical mitigation. That's mostly to heal Charlotte and the team. Okay, so this is Ruthless Stance. Again, he's going to do 2 attacks that ignore cover and provoke. So they're going to be Mirage. Here's the first one. It hit Shantoto, it missed. It hit Falco, it missed. Now here comes the fixed AoE that cannot be covered, but he is blinded. It only hit Shantoto, and it missed everyone again. So there we go. See, blind is a really big helpful tool to deal with those stances. Now, of course, if the blind had failed twice on Shantoto, she would have died. But we could have just rezzed her. You know, it's not that big a deal. So now we're going to put Shantoto back on just DPS chaining. Technically, I should use all the cooldowns, and I'm actually going to use the cooldowns. Yeah, let's use some cooldowns to power her back up. So we'll power up her. Kefka, not much for you to do here. We'll just double Delirium. Forsaken, that does something. I don't remember what. Whatever. Alright, Lid, let's go ahead and refresh the brakes. Kamari, let's refresh the reflex. Charlotte, let's do a defense and spirit buff. And then Folka. Does anyone need healing? Yes, we need healing. Actually, Shantoto is not going to take any damage, so she really doesn't need healing. So we'll just do Teardrop. Because this turn, all the damage is going to be either dodged or covered by Charlotte, because we're using Mirage. Because there's no stance going on this round. There's Reaper, her second Reaper, we're dodging it all. There's the Meteor is covered. Alright, pressure is tightening. So next turn is going to be the stop and all. We got Dispelled again. Unfortunately, a big headache, because that Dispel removes our magic buff, and we have no way to buff magic on this team. I could have given someone like Ignis TMR for a magic buff, but whatever. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do our triple chaining here. Shantoto, I think Shantoto's mod boost cannot be dispelled, so that's fine. We broke the boss last turn. Don't forget, we got completely dispelled. So we're going to spec guard Charlotte so she can limit. Kamari is going to reflex. And again, we need stop protection. So we're going to water screen for the healing, and then we're going to stop protection. And now we're going to do our damage. We might finish the boss off here, but we might not. But it's always good to play it safe. Okay, 1%. That's nice. It's fine. It's fine. This is why we reapplied all the buffs for the safety. So again, we're gonna dodge the 2 attacks. We're immune to the stop. Reaper, dodge the other one, not a problem. Here's the Meteor is covered, totally fine. And the boss is not using a stance, so next turn would be, you know, very not important as well. And then the missions for the fight are 2 Espers, use a limit, defeat within 30 turns. I should have used an Esper earlier in the fight. Whoops. But whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and refresh the brakes. Here, we'll use one Esper just for the sake of it. And let's finish the fight. Okay, so there you go. So that was hopefully a more detailed explanation and not me just going in and killing the boss in 5 seconds with Noctis. I believe I covered everything. We never saw focus stance on the fight. The boss never did that. If the boss had done focus stance, it wouldn't really have been a problem, because the 2 special attacks, Darksteel, Destroyer, during focus stance, can be miraged. They have accuracy, so that's like the anti-evasion stance, but we weren't using an evasion tank anyway, except for Charlotte, and she would have been fine. But the team would have used Mirage, and those attacks would have been completely negated. So that team would have been totally fine with the focus stance. Actually, Ruthless stance is the more dangerous one. But like I said, bring a way to apply blind. And if you're not using a DPS that can do blind, something like Toxic Rain, Bad Breath Materia, all that are good sources of blind to deal with Ruthless stance. Alright, hope it's been helpful. I'll see you guys later.